You're listening to Tuned In with Raph and Nick Webb.
Do you do like a little intro before you start as well?
Yeah, Nick should just do like a hey, welcome back to Tuned In.
Hey guys, you're back with Tuned In with Raph and Nick. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here in the third episode. Our special guest today, would you like to, put your name out there?
Yeah, so pretty much it's James, but the DJ name is, I don't even know which camera to look at, so I'm just going to...
You don't even have to look at the camera. That one's yours if you want.
But I'll just say, started a new venture this year for Jimm Eats. Very strange, there's a lot of context behind it, which it's always a bit of a tough thing when I'm trying to tell people what it is, because they're like, obviously they get the first part Jimm, because James and Jimm, and then the Eats part, they're like, where does that come from? I don't know if you want me to go into depth on that.
Yeah, please do.
So, I got to a point, so for context, if everyone doesn't know, Nick and I have obviously been DJing, or I've been DJing, he's been working with me at Encore for ages. And he's been with me through the whole year, obviously going through different private parties and always thinking about whether or not I was going to take it to the next level, and I never really did. I don't really know the specific reason why. Maybe I just wasn't motivated or passionate enough to, or pretty much brave enough to take it to the next step. And then I had a weird year last year where I was doing these gigs. I was like, you know what, I do want to get into the club scene in Sydney, and trying to reach out to some people and getting pretty much pushed away or ignored because there wasn't really anything like
Bro, I'm not laughing.
and it was tough, like thinking that, and then I'd go to events and it became very pretentious, and I learnt a lot about the industry and the fact that it's a bit hard to get out there. And I was like, you know what, I'm like, why don't I give it a push? I've seen other people do it and they've been very successful, and definitely hats off to them. So I was like, you know what's the worst that can happen? Give it a push and see what happens. So I was sitting down at home, and I'll never forget, I'm like, I need something to be different. I need it to be, I can DJ, I can mix, I can somewhat produce, it's not that good. But I need to do something different that's going to be me. And I'm pretty much someone who is quite quirky, a bit weird, but obviously needed to keep it level-headed. So I was thinking, like, what if there was someone on there that was eating? Because I still remember, and Nick can attest to this, I swear every party that we'd go to, we'd catch each other eating off. I wouldn't be at the decks, I'd be in the line, at the start of the line, like at an Arab function. And obviously when you're Arab, you got to let the oldies go in front of you. Sometimes I just go in a bit in front of them just to get in front of them because I was hungry. So
they're going to die soon anyway.
Yeah, like they got to be in front of them.
Why?
That was rough. And then I was like, you know what, that's a little bit of me to add that to there. And I remember there was a DJ called, there still is a DJ, Eats Everything. And I was like, that's a very clever name. And I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to try and incorporate the aspect of food, because you have music, which is, I can't.
Bro, I'm not fucking
What are you
doing
doing, Nick? Leave him alone.
Oh, no, that's fine. Go.
So I was like, I'll do something different, and I'll add something about like food, because it is also different, but food's also considered a universal language, and also is music. So I was like, this is gonna be a really hard thing to put together. So I'm gonna try and do it anyway. No one's ever done it. So I had Jimm, James. James is not really a marketable name. Jimm is pretty good. And then I said Eats. I was like, you know what, Jimm Eats. So I'll do it that way. So then it also come to the mind that I'm going to try and scale this to the point where I have a brand where I help artists who are upcoming or try to be upcoming to come onto a platform which is reputable, and they can grow themselves. But the difference here is, I'm not going to be the person who picks and chooses who's the best. I want the community to do that. So I want the community to be engaging, and say, for instance, probably giving you all my trade secrets because I haven't even released this yet. But effectively what will happen is they'll have a platform, they go on there. They need to convince the people around them, or the people attached to the account, whether or not they're good enough, and that's by voting, right? So it was also a play on the food, it was also a play on the fact that I want to be community driven, and then now there's also some podcasts that will be released where I engage with restaurants, and sit with restaurants, sit with the owners, something like this, and then we chuck the decks in the kitchen, or we chuck it in the restaurant somewhere, and we record it, and then we put them together. So like they'll get videos of them making the food.
Bro,
so
that sounds so fucking cool.
Yeah, so we've done a few. I haven't released them yet because I want to get one more restaurant, and then I want to just get them prepared, and then start in 2025 with just having heaps of content, and also just having a whole bunch of restaurants lined up. So just trying to connect that two together. So that is the context behind Jimm Eats.
That's actually gone. I think that's such a unique idea.
Yeah, well, I hope it kicks off to be.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone go in and like, you're doing it in the actual kitchen or just in the restaurant?
So the first one we did was at Ange's parents' restaurant, and that was in the kitchen. And It's Jag's restaurant. Jag's restaurant.
Jay's?
Jag?
Jag?
With a
Jag
J.
restaurant.
JAG?
G-A-G.
Gag.
Sorry, J-A-G. Jag's restaurant.
It's all right.
So it's pretty, I don't know how I forgot it. But did it there, had the decks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then we did another one, Alcatraz.
Yep.
Did it there, that was a good one.
And that wasn't in the kitchen, that was like on the main floor or something?
So yeah, that was on the main floor. So actually, for context, Alcatraz is a restaurant that turns into a club. And actually, I'm actually very grateful to be part of the boys who run Club Bazooka. We've thrown our events at Alcatraz. So we had a good foot in there, and I said, hey, can we do it? Because they serve Spanish tapas. And then we said, can we do a podcast, or Eats Radio do a podcast with you guys? And yeah, so we ended up having the DJ kit where they have their normal DJ on the dance floor, or like dance floor, yeah. And then I did another one in Dulwich Hill, which was Tala Maria Mexican Deli. That was on the floor as well, because there's a little bit of issues putting the DJ kit in the kitchen.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so it's not very practical. But hopefully we'll get a few more places where we can do that.
So for the first one, because I haven't seen this at all, so I'm trying to wrap my head around it, like I'm trying to get an image. How packed was the kitchen while you were doing this the first time? Was there anyone in there, or was it just you?
Just two chefs.
Okay.
So it was two chefs, they were working behind, like, it was a big kitchen, to be quite honest. It was actually quite a big kitchen, bigger than your standard kitchen. So it was very easy and practical to chuck the decks in there. So they would have like, it was like a U shape. Oh no, it was like an L shape. So you had like the grills on the back wall, then you had an island behind it, it's parallel to it, and then I sat towards the front end of the DJ kit. So that as the camera looked at me, you would see the people working in the background.
Okay.
Then we had a camera on top, like a bird's eye view, getting the thing, and then we had a camera set up at the back, getting the back view. I think they were the only angles we got, yeah, pretty sure.
And then for the next two, because it was on the floor, did you have other people in the restaurant dancing and stuff to the DJ set, or was it also empty?
It was also empty,
Okay.
but that is a very good point, because that's what we're going to try and do at the next one. So they're obviously like learning curves. The logistics behind it, to get people in there, to be able to record the podcast before it,
Yeah, it'd be fun.
it's a headache, but people become very inclined to do it, like, because it's not just promoting music, it's also promoting their restaurant, but also showing a different element that Sydney really needs. It reminds me of Europe, where you boys have been in Europe.
Yeah.
I've only been to France, technically, in Europe.
So you have been to Europe?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, we didn't do any partying, like that was a family trip.
That's all right. Like, as in, when you went to the restaurants,
Yeah.
did they ever turn into like, or did they plan to turn into nightclubs?
I think some in Nice would have.
Yeah. So
But honestly, wasn't out late enough to see it happen.
yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You would have experienced it in Greece.
Yeah. I just,
No, you don't party.
Did you go? Yeah, you went to Greece.
yeah. But I didn't experience the restaurant before.
Yeah. Okay. Loser. So it's like so what they do is they have a restaurant during the day, and then
That was funny.
No, it's all right. I'm going to ruin this cunt's life.
he hasn't said anything,
Yeah.
and I've been thinking, I'm waiting for this guy.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I've been a bit on edge.
Yeah,
I was like, fucking worried. I see him looking at me like I shouted at him just before and he didn't respond.
I'm just
I was
waiting.
like, oh, no,
I'm
this is
charging.
bad.
I'm charging.
Is that what you have in your pre-workout?
Got some C4.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're an Arab, mate. Of course you have C4.
So in Europe, they have their restaurant, and what they do is, an example is in Greece. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but you're sitting like literally by the water. It's pretty mad. And then you have your food, and they literally push.
It's in Paros.
Is it?
And it turns into a nightclub and they
I haven't
do
been
the
to
thing.
Paros. So
Is that the one
So
you're
you're wrong.
referencing?
No, I was in Mykonos when that happened. That one.
Oh, okay.
So
So
yeah,
you
they
were,
just push the tables. I'm gonna finish. Push the tables away, and then it turns into a nightclub. So it's cool. So I thought, imagine having something like that here, and there's sort of is stuff like that at the moment. Like Caterpillar Club's pretty good that way. What's the other one?
employees only.
Employees only. That's what I was gonna say. That's pretty good. Cats and Meow does it.
I haven't heard of that place.
It's on Oxford Street. They're
That's
not
why I
very.
haven't heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, Oxford Street's starting to pick up.
Yeah, you pick up there. So what do we? So continue, you fucking idiot.
I think I'm done with that one. So yeah, no, to
thank
get to your
God.
point.
Sorry, keep going.
To get to your point, what we want to do is we want to have it looking like it is a party that turns from a restaurant to the club, but in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good element to have to accompany food. Like I've been at restaurants and perfect one recently was the Meat and Wine, the new one in
The Safari.
Yeah, the Safari. I don't think it is in Circular Quay.
Yeah.
So that was the best vibe I've ever been to.
Does that turn into like a...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But like the fact that the music was accompanying the food, it was all Afro House. I mean, it was literally like kind music was in there, but it was just playing. They had speakers in the trees because they've got trees that come over.
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks ridiculous.
It's mad.
That's mad.
It is a 10 out of 10 vibe if you want to go there. Food, I don't really know. It's about like it's iffy. Probably need to cut that out too. But so it's a very good vibe if you want to do this. So if you have good music, good food, that's why I think that's a perfect pairing.
Bro, I don't know how we don't have more of these like restaurants that kind of turn into clubs in Sydney already.
Crazy.
And I think you're doing something that's going to inspire a lot of people to pick up on this. Like if you gain any sort of traction, and I'm sure you will because fuck, what a great idea. I think people want to jump on this. Like this is going to be something I feel like that will actually has the potential to revitalise the Sydney scene a little bit. Like it's so unique.
Sorry, I hope so. I really hope it does. It's just, it is hard to sort of, you can imagine like when you start something new and you've got a vision, like the vision's there, you need to take the steps and you're always going to get step backs?
Roadblocks.
Get roadblocks, roadblocks along the way. The first one that I'm hitting is like, there's not enough reputation for me to go to restaurants and say X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, what have you done? You show them, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Because it's not really convincing, because you've got to think about it from a business point of view and a logistic point of view. When it comes to restaurant owners, they just want to make money. I've never really met someone that is all about the vibe of the restaurant or the long-term goal. It's all about, I need to make the money. How are we going to sell the alcohol? How are we going to sell the food? Which makes sense because there's a lot of overheads. Yeah, it's a business.
Is the caliber of restaurant you're going to maybe too high? I know that sounds bad, but you get what I mean, as in if you go to a restaurant of a certain reputation, then they are then risking their baseline level of reputation. Or not risking, but obviously their profits, the name, putting something in there that genuinely the people who usually go to the restaurant wouldn't necessarily vibe with. What if you targeted smaller businesses? That's a very fair point. Like I try to do a restaurant or name it in Potts Point, pretty reputable place. I loved it. That's why I said I wanted to do it there. Didn't get a response. Understandable. Dulwich Hill was more of a intimate place. Like it's very local in Dulwich Hill. Alcatraz was sort of not at where it was. It's had a very good spot now. It was probably still upcoming. They hadn't even, when I actually did the podcast, it was there for 1 year. So they'd actually only been in business operating for 1 year. Okay. So it does, to your point, I would probably need to start a little bit, not as high caliber. And there's something mad about something intimate. Yeah, so that is something that Club Bazooka and I are actually trying to work on for next year, and that is finding some real intimate venues. So it's finding, like for instance, when we did the rooftop, that was pretty intimate. Yeah. I got messages saying, where was that? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like I genuinely got messages going, where was that? Like that was hectic. That was mad. And it was, I think the best part about it, so like Raph, I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I definitely saw it all over Insta. It looked gone.
It was sick.
Was that your place in?
Yeah,
actually, I'm not going to say where, but was that your place?
Yeah, so and we had it, and I was like, look, I'm moving to do a different place in a couple of months, so that's why I was like, I might as well get this stuff out. I should have done it a while ago. But it was more, it comes to the point where, although that was a sick spot, like it is a mad, the view's amazing, it comes down to the people you're around.
Yeah, of course.
And that's really all that matters. You can go anywhere, and like we did Glass Island, crazy vibe, but we had really good people around us. Yeah. Right? And it is a crazy vibe. You're going under the Harbour Bridge, sitting right next to the Opera House, like can't go wrong there. So I don't know where we are now. So
I think like the struggle or the issue that you're experiencing is like shared by everyone, bro. Like even for us, it's like we would love to go out and interview the biggest Australian artists in the scene.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, this is a ridiculous start, right? But like we'd love to go out and
Yeah, the first two were gone.
yeah, we actually killed it.
Fucking massive drop, but next week we'll pick up again.
That's hard.
I've actually got a spot for you. One of the boys we're going to have on the podcast is a DJ, and he owns Putney Charcoal
Where's
Chicken.
Putney Charcoal?
Charcoal Chicken, the shop in Putney. The Charcoal Chicken shop in
mad.
Putney. He owns it and he's a DJ. He's going to be on this. One of his most recent posts, I thought of you straight away, was he was serving it in the kitchen and then it transitions to him in the club where he did his set.
That's
and I was
mad.
That shit's gone.
It's
Who's this?
Capos, Ally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'll be very open to the idea, I'm sure of it. I'll mention it to him.
I think he will be.
I would love to connect
Yeah.
with him. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Is he on next week?
No,
12th or 9th, maybe it's the week after next.
he actually might be on next week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a sick idea. I wouldn't mind talking to him anyway. That'd be mad. And then we can get like people to come in, and then you can just actually have like a full. You could actually probably have a party in there. Have you just seen when they did the video of the kebab store in?
In the UK?
Was it the UK? And
I
it
think
was
I know the one you're
heavy.
talking about. Yeah.
They got fined. I think they got fined
Oh, really?
because this place was literally like packed. It was small. Like
That's
it
gone.
wasn't
Like a boiler room.
Yeah, yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
bro.
sick.
They love them in the UK.
Well, they did it at Mount Lewis Pizza. Pretty sure they threw a party at Mount Lewis.
No way.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
Mount Lewis Pizzeria.
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I'm pretty
I
sure.
love that place.
Yeah, it's good.
It's great.
I've only heard good things about it. I haven't tried it myself.
I don't think I've tried it either,
Bro,
to
have you
be
seen that
completely honest.
video? I think it was someone like from Channel 9 or Channel 7 goes in, and there's like all these memes about it, like he turns Lebo. Because he walks in, he's like a full Australian reporter, and then it cuts and he's like dancing on the tables, and like they brought the drums in, and he's eating manouche, and he's loving life. It's so funny.
See, like, it's a perfect example of music and food right there.
It actually is.
Literally, like, it just changes the whole element of the whole experience of eating.
What's that place in the city? Around the corner, it's the Lebanese restaurant. Around the corner from...
Zafir.
Is it Zafir? I think it is, and it turns into a
I
club.
played there on Thursday, actually.
How good is it?
What a fucking arrogant piece of shit.
I'm just playing there. They do that. Friday, Saturdays gets...
Pack Thursdays the shit.
That's what I do, Jade. So, yeah,
No, that's
another
a gun.
No,
element.
it's such a good spot. The food's
Have you been
good. Yeah, yeah.
That's nice.
My partner actually recommended it, and I was like,
Oh, so you were there when they did the drums too?
yeah, yeah.
Did you know that they were going to do that?
She knew.
You didn't.
She told me before we walked in, to be fair,
okay.
but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. Like, it sounds like way too Lebo for me. Like, I need to bring my earplugs. Like, every time you go to a Lebo wedding, you're like, bro, it's just way too loud. But I loved it. It's
Yeah.
so good. Such a good vibe.
It is
I think
amazing.
every person that loves Lebanese weddings, Lebanese music, just needs to go try it because the food's good and the music's good. And
Yeah, literally.
the people there are just fun. Like, they're jumping on tables and stuff. You're like,
It's
you don't see this everywhere.
Do you have to get a table and eat to go, or once it turns into a party?
You can go, because it's a bar. It's a bar downstairs.
Oh, okay.
So when I did it, you obviously had people, like there's a lot of people that do hens there, which is interesting.
Understandable,
Oh, gone.
actually. Nah, there were, bro, the people that rocked up, these like groups of girls.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
heaps of them. They just rock up.
So they love it. They love the fact that you can go and eat there, and then obviously after that you get to play music. But they stopped like the Arabic, and they go to like it becomes like a nightclub because they start playing like commercial music.
Yeah.
And you can still order drinks at the bar. Like people were coming down that they hadn't had a table and they were getting drinks.
Oh, okay, mad.
So if you want to go there,
No.
make sure they don't let you in.
That's good. I wasn't planning on going on a Thursday anyway, so it's alright.
Yeah, Thursday. Don't go there.
No, but I think that issue that you're experiencing where it's like, oh, you want to go for the big ones, like everyone
Yeah.
has it. Like I was saying before, like we would love to do like a flume, right?
would be
Or a
nice.
Tame Impala. But it's like you got to start small, and I think every artist needs to start small. But like you've done what, 3, 4 already,
3.
bro. Sure.
Yeah.
People will pick you up in no time. Once you start releasing them, it's gonna be game over.
All the businesses crash and burn in your pocket. Your
you're not
reputation
wrong.
relies on the food as well. Because imagine
Yeah,
you
so
post
I'm not-
something and the business shuts down, and then they're like,
No, that's actually
not
on
my
you.
fault.
That's actually not on you at all.
oh no, I've listened to some of them.
Have you seen anything? No, you haven't seen anything.
You showed me some of the clips.
Oh, I did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Well,
They were really good. I got to be fair. Like it looked extremely professional. It sounded gun. It sounded interesting. Yeah, honestly, like for someone like Rahane, it was gun.
So it's got a low level.
No, it was really good. It was really good. I'm excited for them to come out.
Yeah, same. I'm excited to see how it responds because, look, to be quite honest, I have seen some people do certain combinations of food and music. Like I've seen one recently that came up on my feed called Let Him Cook. I can't remember the specific term, but he literally has a kitchen and he's got chefs and the scene doesn't change. So he just gets different DJs into the actual scene. And I thought that's perfect, like, because I've met with the boys from CTRL, We Are Pool Party, and they made a fair point. They're like, if you want to do it, like, it's good to do it in like a venue, so you have consistency, cameras locked in place, which is a fair point. And then spoke to Matty, and he's like, look, that's also good, but there's also an element where you can just be, what's the word? It's like not genuine, but like in the moment. Like you go to their restaurant and you make something out of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because then you're also showcasing the restaurant. Because there's two elements to it. You could do it with a space and you get chefs in and you get the DJ in and you have a nice aesthetic looking, because some of these places may not look nice, the restaurants, right? But they might have really good food. So you're trying to work on a balance, but it's also that genuineness, that realness of like, you're not creating a space which people can't visit, you're actually creating a space where people can visit and feel that place. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. I'm excited to see what the feedback is. And we actually have one next Friday, 15th.
Yeah.
We're just tossing up and whether or not with the venue, whether we make it an open event. So like, obviously we get there early, we do the podcast, and then at a certain time it becomes like open to the public, have like deals going on, food combinations with drinks to help promote the business, but also bring people in. And we also have a DJ and like, you interact. And effectively, the main part of it is connecting with people, right? Yeah. And you're allowing the food and music to be the conduit of that. Yeah. So, I don't know, we'll see how we go. I'm just waffling at the moment.
No, it's awesome. I love hearing about it. I'm actually curious to see what.
Don't sound too excited.
That was really good.
So excited.
Bro,
I love hearing about it. Oh my gosh. By the way, can we quickly change topic?
Alright, so anyways.
No, I was going to say, like, there's not people in Sydney that are really like taking the initiative that you are taking. Like, this is a fresh idea. And it's gone. I mean, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so before
it could be shit, but no, I think it's gonna be fucking gone.
No, it will be really good. Like in all honesty, like coming from a piece of shit, like me. I will give it to you and I will deflate the shit out of you. But this is a gun idea, and it definitely has traction and legs. And I just hope the Tuned In podcast doesn't get left behind once. Each radio blows up. Are we going to forget about us? Is that what you're going to do?
This is the start.
I don't think this is the start. The start was in 2016. Do you want to run us through the start?
Oh, geez.
Do we want to go back to it? Do we want to take them to the real start?
I know I just briefly touched on it at the start as well, but I'm happy to go into it. There's a long history between this gentleman and I. Yeah. It's actually quite...
your history or how you started music? How far are we going back?
It was a bit integrated.
Well, it's even further than that. Like, our parents were very close. Our families were close. But we actually didn't know each other. I knew his parents, he knew my parents, but we never knew each other.
How does that even happen? What, like family friends or what?
Yeah, family friends, right?
Well, his dad engineered my house. That's why it's fucked.
Isn't that why it's getting knocked down?
Yeah, it's fucking the foundation's off. It started tilting, but
there's all these cracks. My dad was like, "No, it's aesthetic. That's how it's supposed to be."
It's the Leaning Tower of Strathfield.
No, it got rated the best.
It did get an award, to be fair, but we don't mention that because
shout out, nah, joking.
My dad has that award on his desk.
Does he actually?
And then just no pictures of his children. just that award. Nah.
He wakes up in the morning, gives it.
He polishes it.
Come to dinner 1 second.
But so my first ever gig at Encore.
I still remember this. So
I remember the guy's name. I remember everything. It was the 21st.
I remember as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, I mean, because it was the first time I met you, but So Encore Collective by Matty Georges, he actually, it was him and his cousin, and then I remember he reached out to me.
I'm so sorry to say, was it in Maryland's?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the 21st.
21st?
And it was my first ever gig. And it was with James, he picked me up. I was like 15 or 16.
I didn't pick you up.
Nah? Oh
You
no,
got
sorry,
dropped
my
off.
dad, yeah. So I was like 15, 16, I was nervous, young. And then like I walk in and he goes, hey, James, he does like his little thing. He does, you do it, you do like this thing. And then,
Can you show us, James, how you do it?
I don't think I do that
you
anymore.
got like, it's like a,
Oh, hey, yeah.
it's like this.
Well, I was just trying to, because I remember Matt going, like, there's a young guy going to be working with you. He's fresh. He hasn't done it before. Like, we're giving him a chance.
Fresh.
It's fresh meat.
Yeah, like, it was probably a test. It was a bit of a test.
Yeah. Because Matt puts you through the ringer.
Yeah.
And if you get put with me, you're getting put through the ringer.
Yeah.
So,
Why? Why is that? Like,
Because it's like getting put with Diddy. It's like you're just...
it's just like, obviously, like, I'm close with Matt. I tell him if he's good, blah, 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 like.
Yeah.
So, he came in, and I remember Matt saying, be careful. Not be careful. Don't do anything that you wouldn't. I'm joking. He was just like, obviously, he's young. He's a new guy. Because I was only doing it with probably like Sean.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
And Luke.
Really wasn't that, and who?
Luke Gilder.
Yeah, and Gilda. Like, there weren't many photographers. So, like, I didn't know me personally. I was like, okay, so it's picking up, right? So, yeah, he walks in. I don't think I recognized you.
No, we didn't know you.
No,
We were
yeah,
just
okay.
like, hey, nice to meet you. Like,
this is what, 2016?
Yeah, 2016.
Early 2016. We're like, yeah, we're on. I do a party and then I go home and my parents are like, oh, he was the DJ. And I was like, James. They're like, what's his last name? And I think I messaged you. I was like, hey, bro, what's your last name? And then my parents are like, no way, like, and your uncle, and then he engineered the house. And it was like this, yeah. Like, they'd known each other for ages.
Well, they still talk now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a small world. So we started after that. Well, we got a lot. We were talking about how you went to Trinity, and I was like, oh, do you know like Matthew and Jamie and stuff? Remember?
That's right.
And
yeah.
It hadn't clicked yet. Like it hadn't clicked that because I didn't even ask what your last name was.
Yeah. No.
And then he went home and then he asked his parents, and then after that, just mayhem. I was even saying to Matt the other day, do you remember? There was a few of them, but there was one specific party. So we used to joke around, like, as DJs, like, we used to try and get the crowd going, like, we'd rile them up, get them excited, whatever, get them to go behind the decks, choose songs. Because if you go to a party, you don't want to be embarrassed of the DJ, like, not embarrassed, you don't want to have that distant connection between you and the DJ. You know what I mean? Or even the photographer.
Even a photographer, bro, like, you're taking 1,000 photos a night, you're in people's faces all night.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is, hey, do you want a photo? And, like they're awkward about it. It's like, it's not.
You want to make them feel comfortable, which you did. And then like he'd started, because he's obviously, good stuff, people facing, he gets to talk to people, and then I'll just follow him and obviously start talking to people, blah, blah, blah. And then we get to a point where like, we get bad parties, like the crowd wouldn't be that good.
Yeah.
But then he'd rile them up, and then I'd rile them up, and then we'd start like getting everyone excited, right? And then there was one time, I can't remember where it was, there's actually another scenario as well.
I don't know where this is going actually, so I'm actually...
There was one party where I'm DJing, he's doing photography. And he's like, bro, play this song. And I'm like, all right, bro, play this song, all right. And they're getting like, he's picking the right songs, right? He's saying these are the right songs to play. And I'm like, bro, do you want to just jump behind the decks? And you're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, bro, like, DJing, and this is obviously my opinion, is 80% song selection. Mixing, you can mix songs, doesn't matter. If you get a good mix, it just makes it a lot better, right? But 80% of the song, the next song, people are just waiting for. So he had the right song selection. Obviously his mixing was subpar.
Yeah, I'd never done it.
He's never done it before. Freaking out. Anyway, so he's like, he jumps behind, I jump on the camera, and I start taking photos. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I start taking photos. Next minute, Maddie walks in.
I do remember this.
Maddie walks in. We had no idea he was coming to the party.
But he knew like the birthday person.
Yeah. Which is no surprise. And Maddie knows everyone. And walks in. And he's like, what the heck are you guys doing? And I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, and you're behind the decks, and it was that place where the garage is short. It was this it was like a boiler. It was a garage, but like long garage, short ceiling, and you just see this guy like losing his mind. Like,
I was loving it. It's fun as.
and I remember Maddie's looking through. So Maddie's like, "You guys are crazy. Just flip back, go back." We're like, "All right, whatever." He goes to the photos because you're like giving me advice on how to take photos, and I still remember you're like, try and shorten the gap between
The headroom.
the headroom. I'm like, yeah, mad, okay, and try and obviously get the.
Just make sure they're focused and do the headroom. I'm like, I've set the camera so it should like be sweet. Yeah.
Click.
So Matt goes at one point. He's like, who's taking these photos? Because obviously they're shit, and then they go back. But I had still been taking the photos, so I actually got a little bit better.
Yeah, you got better.
And it was pretty fun. I was like, that's probably. And I was just talking to Matt about that story. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Did he lose his shit or like?
No, he didn't.
Nah, he was sort of like.
Oh, he loved it. He thought it was fun.
He thought it was funny, so he was like, all right, go back.
Yeah.
Because it was still heaving, like the party was still pumping.
Yeah.
It's not like we dispersed the party. And I don't think we've ever had that issue.
No.
Ever. And like we've had some parties where we're like, they're not going to dance. Like there's no way. Because you get some crowds, like there's a lot of them, like they just sit there, don't talk to anyone. And it's like, all right, what can we do to make it different? Sometimes I'll play songs that he wants to hear. Remember, the guy that went to prison had colourful hair.
6ix9ine.
6ix9ine.
Yeah.
What was the song we always used to play?
Kicker.
Kicker. Every time. And he would make it, like he would lose his mind. Everyone's like, what the f-? Then they would start jumping.
Yeah, bro. It was like.
So it was always fun working.
It's like when Panic at the Disco comes on.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And just one person loves it and just jumps on the dance floor.
I
It's
love
usually
Panic
you.
at the Disco.
Do
Yeah,
you
that's
actually?
usually me. Yeah.
And then everyone gets cheered up.
That's all it takes though. Because I feel like it's people that want to dance, but they're like conscious of, people think of me this way, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
Like I've saying this recently. Back in the day when I was DJing, I was a lot younger. Like in 2016, I was
37.
no. It was before that, 2014. In 2014, I was about 15, 16 years old, and I remember I'd do 21st, so I'd do like 18th, and because of the age difference, like I obviously have older siblings, I resonated more with my older siblings because I liked the music back in the day, and look, I think the music back then was probably a lot more enjoyable than it is now, even though there is good music. So they were still on the same level, right? We didn't have many phones, or people weren't really using their phones. So what they would do is they'd be dancing, they'd always be interacting, blah, blah, blah. And then when you were like 16, you go to 16-year-old parties, like you don't really spend time with the girls because you're with the guys, like, you're talking about the girls, or blah, you're segregated in the groups. And then like towards the end, like an hour before it finishes, you're like, all right, don't worry, I'm gonna go talk to her.
It's like one guy, Jesus. Like
And then you all start going,
Yeah.
people start hooking up, blah, blah, blah. I kid you not, I did a party this year, 21st. That was how it was. So not when you're 16, when they're 21. So the whole night, when you're 21, the guys are dancing with the guys, the girls are over here. I kid you not, there was like a circle of guys here, circle of girls here. I was in here watching it. Hour before it finishes, they start to talk. And I was like, wow, there's like been a mad shift. Like, because I used to think that happens when you're 16, you're shy.
Yeah.
But now when you're getting to 21, that's what, 5 years later, it's like, there's something that, and I do think it's the social media aspect, like the facade or the things on social media that make it look like, he's doing this and blah, 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 I'm gonna be like that. It just makes it difficult to have that honest interaction in person.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting aspect for me to see. It was mad though.
I want to know, and obviously don't say the name or anything because we don't want to call anyone out, but like, what's the worst party you've done, either alone or if it's with Webby, and it's just like, okay, like things just went wrong, or...
I've had a really bad party. Like, it depends.
I think I've had, like...
Nah, he hasn't been there. You haven't
I've
been
had
there.
moments where, I don't know if you agree, where like you sometimes you're not in the mood to work. I don't think I'm ashamed. Everyone's not in the mood to fucking work sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, that's not so much a reflection on the party. That's a reflection on my mindset. But I don't think there's been a party where I'm like, this is, like, what is going on?
I actually have a video of Nick. It's not the worst party. It was just, do you remember this video?
I know exactly what this is.
For some reason, I can't remember why.
Bro.
The night was taking forever.
Like, bro, just...
Sorry, he was in a tired mood. This is to your point.
Yeah.
You were exhausted or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, I'm tired, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, we've got a party to do. And then he'd be taking and the crowd wasn't that good.
Because it was a massive backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were like I don't know if it was an 18th or something or a 16th. They had just started like, you know, they were smoking a bit in the back.
Yeah.
Then the dad was like losing his shit.
Oh, and they had alcohol.
Yeah, they had alcohol.
It was a
So it was a
16th.
16th and they were smoking a bit of weed in the back and their dad was losing his shit.
Yeah.
And he's like making it sort of our problem a bit. And I'm like, mate, I haven't got like, I'm just here to like snap a couple photos.
I couldn't play swear words.
Oh, yeah, like it was, bro.
That's rough.
But it was, yeah.
It was tough. Anyway, this guy, it gets to a point where they don't want photos. Like there's nothing realistically for him to do.
Yeah.
And I remember there's a video. He looks so depressed. Like it's not funny, but like he's so like sad.
That's pretty funny.
No, it's so funny.
And he goes. So he asked me what the time is. I think it was like, I'm just going to pick a number because I know the distance. It was like 8:50. He goes away, he tries to take photos, comes back. It's like, all right, what's the time now? I'm like, 8:52. He's like, what? How is it taking so long?
Bro, it felt like 2 minutes, felt like half an hour. Like I expected him to be like, it's 9:30. And bro, he just, the clock was
Don't
ticking.
you remember us completely changing the rest of the night? How we just started playing whatever we wanted?
Yeah, because bro, they were young kids in this massive backyard. And they didn't want a bar of the party. It was like very weird.
Yeah,
it was almost like they didn't want to, it's like they just wanted to drink in this massive backyard. They didn't really care about like making it special for the birthday girl.
Yeah.
It almost felt like they were just using her house as a reason to like be there. It was a bit of a rough crowd actually. And like the parents were losing their shit. Like, yeah, it was just a long night, that one.
It was an interesting one. It's
Yeah, so that's how we've been acquainted, just through that.
literally 3 on call. It
Yeah,
was bad. It was a good story.
honestly.
That actually is, that sounds ridiculous.
We worked together for like, what, 8 years? That's a long time.
Yeah.
I got to a point where it was like every weekend we'd see each other. I'd come pick him up, get in the car. I remember we used to have a green Golf convertible. Do you remember that? First car that I ever got. Fun car, but not practical for DJing because it's a coupe. You got to push the seats down and then put the speakers into the back. And we would be exhausted after one night, and the last thing we would be doing is trying to squeeze ourselves into the back of this car, putting speakers onto the seat, putting the seatbelt on them so they don't have to fall over and stuff. I was just pedantic. We didn't have to put the seatbelts on them, but I just didn't want them to move around.
Yeah, no, fair.
So it's just been an interesting point of view, just coming from like the start, having those type of speakers. Like I had these speakers that were this big. I swear they were this big, massive.
I remember when you changed and it was like a massive deal. You're like, bro, I got this.
Yeah, it was massive.
They're crystal clear high end. Look how much, like, they're so much smaller, bro.
Yeah.
This could probably do like this venue, but you know the new ones? Double the venue. Like, yeah, let's go.
Literally.
And bro, you used to get like G'd up. Like, I can't wait to hear 100 speakers. Like, it was like the most
they were
exciting
good.
thing. They were good speakers. They were gun. You still use the same ones?
Yeah, I do. But
they're
I have
good
them with
speakers.
subs now. So like,
Sure.
because like so much of your speaker can produce so much bass because it's so like you got your highs and then you got your treble, your tweeters and then your bass. I used to blare them, I used to blow them, and it was like, oh god, I gotta get a new speaker. So I thought the one thing that blows is your bass, your lows on a speaker. So I said, you know what, why don't I just get a speaker that's just lows, and then channel everything that's lows into it, and then keep the highs there because the ones that I have are like very clear, crystal clear, but the sub is like I need to upgrade the sub. It's getting to that point now. I need to upgrade the sub.
And then we used to get a Portos and talk about reptilians until 2
Literally.
a.m. Yeah. But that's the issue what we used to do.
I'd believe it.
We'd sit
because that sounds
outside my
like
house.
The biggest Nick Webb thing to
Yeah,
do.
we'd sit outside
literally,
my-
we sat for ages.
outside my house, and then he's like, bro, you're scaring me. Remember that night? I feel like scared the shit out of you.
You did
Like, not in a,
definitely.
like a scared way, like a boo, but you're like, bro, you got me
Question-
thinking,
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
questioning, yeah.
So interesting. And it's funny. I think I can think of that like it was like last week,
I know,
but that was at least like 4 or 5 years ago.
yeah.
Crazy.
It's actually cooked.
James, how do you get from doing house parties? Because this is like literally you're telling me this, and I'm like, bro, you just said you did Glass Island. Like,
Yeah.
how do you go from house parties, starting out as a DJ, to doing massive venues in places like Glass Island? Like, how does that even happen?
Sometimes it honestly baffles me too how I got there. But I don't mean to say it as if I'm gloating and saying, oh, I'm on Glass Island, whatever, because I'm still part of the journey. Like, that's not the end.
100%.
You sort of keep going. So I think overall, you just have to love what you do, right? You just have to be genuine about what you do. He wasn't expecting me to talk like this on the show, so.
Why not?
Bro, I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
Genuine,
I've never
you gotta
seen him
love what you
smile
do.
unless it's out of spite, so.
I smile all the time.
But to be quite honest, for me, it's just being genuine and doing the right thing. And when I say the right thing, I'm probably going into detail about that. But doing the right thing gets you the opportunities that it's up to you whether you need to take. Because in life, you get a chance or a choice, right?
Yeah.
And you got to make sure you make the right choices with the chances that you get given. So how I got to Glass Island, funny enough, I'm very passionate about music. I'm very receptive to feedback, and I always like watching good DJs and always admire DJs. I never put DJs down because we're all different. So I'm pretty comfortable with the way I DJ. I think I can do a good job, and I think the benefit of that is that my friends hear that. So to that point, my friends have connections with certain people, and then they say, look, I've got a friend of mine who's a DJ. And to be quite honest, and this comes from like running events, when people say that to you, you're just like, I can understand why people might go, oh, he's just another DJ. And that also helped me change my mindset about that though. So they actually reached out to some of the people and they said, this is a DJ. The other guy's like, yeah, all right, no worries. Another friend of mine, same connection. I've got a DJ. Yeah, all right, no worries. Another friend, yeah, no, all right, no worries. So it was just like, this is what I'm talking about where I was getting pushed down. Because I know that it's not that hard. At the end of the day, in like any industry, it does depend on who you know, right? Yeah. But you also got to be very passionate about what you do. Yeah. So, funnily enough, connected with Pauline Harris, and Simon, actually connected to Pauline Harris through Simon, and they were the boys that started Club Bazooka. They started it, I think, maybe 3 years ago from today. Well, not specifically today, but like 3 years ago. And they were running events. Oh, they were running house parties, but they were big. To a certain extent, I started doing it. I did 2 at my house. I don't know if you saw them. I did like a panic room at my place. Blacked out my whole parents' front yard. Like literally got...
I remember you sent me videos. I couldn't come that day.
Yeah, it would have been that.
Bro.
And...
Thank God. No, sorry.
no, actually, it was hands down probably one of the best. Obviously, I'm biased to it, but the people loved it. So we literally got, you know, the plastic that they use for building. You know, like you do concrete and you put plastic out.
Yeah. So like drop sheets and stuff.
Drop sheets, yeah. But it's like a roll, like it's a
like massive,
50 meters.
Like it's a tarp.
Yeah, it's effectively a tarp. So we got that. We got these tarps from Bunnings, and so I've got a pergola outside. And then what we did was we got the tarp and we taped the tarp around it so it was blacked out around the sides. So it was like a literal
black room.
Black room.
Diddy dungeon.
Yeah. It's full of baby oil. It's crazy. Full of it. That's wild. You actually got one on arrival. Shots of baby oil. No, so we did that and then we threw a party in there and then everyone loved it and we're like, New Year's Eve, let's do another party. Funnily enough, my parents were both away for those events, coincidentally. So
do they know about those events?
The best thing is, they did, but we cleaned it not the carpet, but we cleaned it outside that well that they didn't notice. The only thing they saw, I remember when the New Year's party, we did a New Year's Eve party in 2019. I was so tired that we got all the rubbish, put all the bags out, but we left them out the front of the house, like literally on the front fence. My dad and mum rock up and they see that and they're thinking, holy shit, these guys haven't cleaned up. But luckily we had gurneyed the floor, cleaned up the floor, everything was clean. So I was throwing those parties, did the ones in New Year's Eve, and then was on a boat party with Simon, and Simon's like my cousins, Paul and Harris, they throw parties, like you should connect with them. It's like, yeah, man, let's do it. And then they're like, come. So I met Paulie, met Harris, started talking. They were throwing a party in Surrey Hills. I was at my place throwing a party too, so we ended up didn't do it. And then they said, hey, do you want to come to a party in Marrickville? At the Factory Theatre to get you to DJ. I'm like, yeah, mad, no worries, I bring some people, brought some people, DJ there. And then I said, okay, look, there's something here. I wouldn't mind working with you guys to try and build something. So I brought them over, had a chat, had these ideas flowing. Still had a chat, didn't get anything. Like obviously stayed friends and started going out, started doing things and whatever, meeting people, trying to understand the industry a lot more than what we did previously. Going to a lot of unique events, right? And meeting people, which is very key. You need to get your face out there if you want to get out there. That's just in anything, right? It's not just DJing or getting to Glass Island. So we did that. We started meeting people, introducing ourselves. And another thing is you just got to be a good person, man. Especially in this industry. Like I'm a big person. I'm not like burning bridges. I'm not that type of person. So you just got to be a good person, be genuine with what you do. Not like this guy. He's not that genuine.
You're a piece of shit, mate.
So we did that and then we said...
We're all on the same podcast, so I'm a piece of shit.
We're all on the same level. So then we did that one, like, let's use my place to throw a party. So we did that, threw a party. So you probably would have seen, it wasn't the Eats Radio party, it was just a Club Bazooka party. And then we said, okay, so we've got some legs here. We obviously did it for free because it was at my place. And then we said, let's say, then Harris found this place called Alcatraz. Fresh and upcoming. We went there, spoke to the boys that run it, and they said, yeah, we'll let you run your event. And we're like, all right, mad. And the reason why I'm getting into this is because I don't think why I started, or we started DJing at some places like Glass Island, and they're top tier stuff in Sydney. Not through just being a DJ and just putting a name out there, but because we had a vision to create our own events, and we did. We were I think, quite good in what we did at Alcatraz the first time, because we were big in curation. We had massive circles with rings around them. We had we had trees and floral stuff everywhere. And we created a space which was so unique that we actually had people who were there and recorded it. People from watching their stories were saying, well, are you in Europe? Like, where are you? This doesn't seem to be Sydney. So we started following this feeling, we started doing it, and then people started to see what we were doing, and they wanted us to start throwing events at their venues. And we said, well, we're more than happy to entertain that opportunity. But then that was the way that we got in there. We'd meet them, we'd say, we'd be genuine and be like, look, this is what we want to do. We don't know if it'll work, maybe we'll work, we won't, whatever. And that's really how we got it, just through meeting people, being genuine about your passion. And the one thing that I'll never forget from all of this is that everything takes time. Like, you can't expect things to come like that. If they do, you should probably be not questioning, but like thinking, okay, this is not the end. Because, people ramp up pretty quickly, people get to things very quickly, but don't stop. Like, just keep continuing your vision of what it is.
Yeah.
And look, realistically, the vision is to continue to grow just a massive community that is genuine about not just music, but being around people. Yeah. Like, I think the beauty of Club Bazooka now is, I've had people that I know come to the event. First time they're like, this is cool, like, it's a cool place, love it. I don't know anyone. Second time, they know everyone. They feel so comfortable, and it's it's our hospitality. Like, when we bring people that I know, and then say, for instance, other boys I know, I'll make sure I make a conscious effort to introduce them to everyone. Like when
that was me,
Nick.
Yeah.
That was Nick. That was actually what you said.
I said it outside just then. I literally said, like, the first thing, I didn't know anyone.
Oh yeah, you did.
And then now I feel comfortable. I'm like, who's going? Like, you'll list off names, and I haven't met these people a handful of times. I haven't known them from an extended period of time. But, like, he mentioned who's going, and I was like, okay, easy. Because you just feel comfortable with them.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's a conscious effort to make everyone feel comfortable. And I think it's a big thing nowadays. We have so much support out there to be supported. Like, there's so many resources to be supported. But we all need to make a conscious effort to make sure that everyone feels supported. And I think allowing us to have a space like Club Bazooka to do that, and to be able to make people feel comfortable, and then listen to the music that they like, meet new people, dance. Like, dance is a form of communication. It's crazy. Like, you break it down like that, and you have a space. That's what we focus on. Like, we want to do big venues. We want to make sure we get more people. It's just obviously trying to control the intimacy of it, which does take time.
Man, after this,
I hope so.
Your stocks are going through the roof, mate. Fucking tuned in.
I've been tuned in. I hope you've been tuned in.
Mate, you're going to have thousands knocking on the door. You're not going to know. You're not going to fit it in a restaurant, mate.
I hope so. And then even if you get the other boys on here, they'd love to. Like, my aspect of it is just one vision, right? They started Club Bazooka. I was very blessed.
No, we're going to use all on. I said that to you earlier. Like, the goal is eventually we're going to have Club Bazooka on. But I feel like I wanted you specifically early on because
I appreciate that.
I just wanted to, get the dog shit ones out of the way.
Yeah. Like, you obviously just didn't pump out some stuff.
Just get the content quick.
Yeah.
No, but because I have a genuine love and connection for you. So
thank you.
I just wanted to get that. This is where it changes.
Cut it.
But yeah. We definitely want to have a round table with Club Bazooka on and have a full conversation.
That would actually be done to have everyone on at the same time.
Well, actually, talking about round table, he came up with a really good idea for Eats Radio.
I did.
Remember?
Look, I just pump out ideas, everyone leeches, and then they bully me. That's what happens. They come on my podcast, they just bully me, they leech from my ideas, and then they just let me go. That's what
was
happens.
the idea?
I have no idea. I have zero idea.
Nah, surely not. Remember when we wrote it on the phone? Oh no, you probably weren't conscious at that point.
No, I seriously have that many good ideas. I just can't.
So one of them is...
I was fucked.
I don't
tell
want
the truth, mate.
I do want to say the idea. Anyway, we'll say the idea, whatever. So it's like Eats Radio concept, food. So what you do is you get the DJ in the kitchen. They have to cook and mix at the same time.
Bro, this was such a good idea. Yeah, I do
Cook and
remember this
Cook
idea.
and mix at the same time.
So they have to have a dish ready. So you got to talk to the camera, cooking, whatever. But you also got to mix. You got to make sure the mix. Obviously, the whole purpose is to try and.
But this one's actually not about good food.
No. It's not about. Oh no. This one is about good food. Remember, because it's like you have the DJ in the kitchen cooking and mixing, and then he has to serve it to the other DJs at the end, and it's the round table.
Because for someone who's never cooked
yes.
before, how are you going to?
Yeah, that's the funny
purpose,
part. That's the
purpose
funny
of it.
part.
We'll give them a recipe.
Yeah.
And make them cook it.
So the other DJs decide on a recipe, right? So imagine for this series.
What if they just decide to fuck you?
No, it's a YouTube series. That's what they're gonna do. So it's a YouTube series of, let's say, 10 episodes, and from that 10 episodes, in this group, there's 10 DJs.
Yeah.
Now, of these DJs, you each pull a number out of a hat. I'm actually elaborating on my own idea as I'm speaking. You pull a number out of the hat. So it's 1 through to 10, which means you're on week 1 or you're on week 10. Therefore, it's even.
What about like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Exactly, right? Then, good clarification. Then, the other DJs get a vote on a dish they get to give you. So it's like Raph's week 3, the other DJs will decide Raph's got to cook lasagna. So Raph's trying to cook lasagna and he's like mixing, and then at the end of the thing, all the DJs come together and they give like almost like a MasterChef style rating of what you've cooked. Or the other side is, you could cook something that other DJs don't decide, and you cook something uniquely you that you want to cook. So for example, if you're Lebanese and you want to cook some bulsik or kebab, you can.
Imagine you cooking mujadra.
Yeah, like so, you know what I mean?
Hey, I love mujadra.
No,
I love mujadra as well.
No, I'd walk out.
Off its tits.
Yeah, literally. Have you added salad to it too?
Nah.
Oh, try that. It's nice.
Yeah.
Mujadra is like couscous. Like
Nah, bro, I'd walk out. No.
Really?
Yeah, no chance.
I actually used to be like that. I used to
A
despise.
piece of shit.
I used to despise the mujadra. But now when you mix it, like you can eat it on its own, but I don't know.
No, on its own, it's mid. You gotta have labin.
No, you have to.
Yeah.
Oh, you reckon on its own is with laban?
No, on its own has to be with lab. No, you can't have it on its own. Like it's a bit mid. Like you're like, I'll eat it, but it's not.
It's not like. It's
At
not
its
that
full
nice.
potential.
Yeah. I agree.
Like when you understand its full
I
potential.
mean, if you add laban to anything, it's like hummus. If you add anything to those two.
Yeah.
Like today, I just had rice
Actually,
and
yeah,
hummus and
hummus
chicken. It was gone.
Now, I wanted to ask you, are you producing? Because I remember we once upon a
Drake
time
song?
ago tried to remix a Drake song, Sticky. Yeah.
I still have it.
Yeah.
I still have it.
It was fucking dog shit. We both sat there and we were like,
It was like 11 p.m. Don't you remember? It was like,
fair.
but you came at like.
I came after work.
You were working at that? Yeah. 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So producing, not really. I think I'm too much of a perfectionist to get into it. Like, so I listen to a lot of music. Naturally, I want it to sound exactly like that.
Yeah, of course.
And then just trying to find the time to get into the nitty gritty of it and trying to understand like the mastering or certain ways. Like, I don't even understand keys. You know what I mean? Like chords, which is a basic element of it.
Oh, but do you have trouble with that when trying to mix and stuff?
No.
Like, or you understand?
I understand.
Like generally,
I understand.
like it
generally
needs to be the same key. Like
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
which ones are like next to each other.
I think he
honestly
understands it
mixing.
like me. Like how I'm able to get through a mix, like mix my own song with just the most basic fundamental understanding. I think we share the same understanding.
Right.
I think that's a better way of explaining it to you.
Okay.
Like I'd like to I'd like to create my own chords based on knowing which keys work, like the major, minors. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I use a program on Ableton that does it for me.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Yeah. I
He's
know,
an
so-
Ableton.
I'm an Ableton user.
I Ableton as well.
Yeah,
I used to do FL Studio. That was good, but Ableton just seemed to resonate better. Just has more functionality to do things.
Yeah, no, I truly do think it's a preference, but like I love Ableton. I would never change.
Did you use Logic? I know he loves Logic.
Yeah, I've used actually, to be honest, only Logic and Ableton. In school,
Yeah,
I used Logic just because I thought they were teaching.
Yeah, well, that makes
Right, like you go to the music class, it's like
And you'd
you
have
don't
to
have a
have a
choice.
Mac for Logic.
Yeah,
right?
we had Macs and stuff. Actually, funnily enough, I started using Ableton in class because Kapos was using it.
Yeah.
And like he was just so good at producing that the teachers just let him do it. Even though the course wasn't scripted for
That's
that
mad.
program, they were just like, "Oh, we'll just let you do it
Is
because
he a
you're really,
producer
really
now?
good." Yeah, he's bloody good.
Mad.
And I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool. Like, can you show me how to use it?" And then I ended up getting into it, and I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to force myself to learn it because it's more complicated than Logic. I don't know compared to FL. Maybe you'd know a little bit better because you were using it before."
I feel like FL is a lot more user friendly.
Yeah.
It's been known FL for R&B because like
Hip hop R&B.
hip hop R&B.
Because of the drum pattern sequence.
Yeah, the sequencer, yeah. Because you can get a sequencer on Ableton,
And Logic.
Like it's
but it's not the same.
it doesn't look the same, but it is like you divide it into the certain steps and you just click in the notes.
No,
Yeah,
you know,
so yeah.
Logic's looks exactly the same. I never knew
Yeah.
that. Do you remember that night we were at Yaz's, and I was like, I'm gonna go home and try and produce something.
Yeah.
Opened up the drum sequencer, and I was like, oh, this is exactly the same. You can.
That's really done. I think the interface does make a difference because even though the Ableton functionality is exactly the same with that step sequencer, like you open up the roll, the piano roll, and it's like exactly the same. You click it in, but just because it doesn't look aesthetically the same, it throws you off
It definitely does.
a little bit.
Literally, the sequencer on FL Studio is literally like buttons.
Yeah.
Whereas you got the pencil on Ableton where you can draw and extend,
Yeah, exactly.
which you don't really do on FL. Like it's a lot easier to just use the sequencer.
Like it because it looks exactly like an actual model step sequencer, like an 808.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I've seen all these tracks that were made on this, like all the old hip hop songs,
Yeah.
all the old R&B songs, and you see people do it, and you're like, so simple. Like there are the buttons right there. I know exactly how it looks. And then you move over to something like a piano roll, and it's like things change so quickly because you can change it from 16th to 32s to one bars, and
you can
shit
even
just
get rid
gets
of it.
muddled. Yeah, and you can get rid of it completely, so things can just be off time. So even though you can make it exactly the same, it's like, oh, I don't really know how to navigate this. I'm a little bit scared, and then you start using it, and you're like, I don't know. Yeah, it definitely is more complex than
why
Logic and FL, I guess.
I like that though. I like having
I
something
like it too.
that gives you breadth because I'd rather work with something that has a greater functionality than something limited because you're eventually, if you get really good at it, you're like, oh, I want to do this. You're going to have to move to the new one anyway. It's like using CapCut and Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
Like CapCut's good, but it's got its limited features. Whereas Premiere Pro gives you the whole bundle, or even After Effects.
Yeah.
That is like
That's a different
next
story.
level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really use that. I can't use that. I try to back in the day, not for music, just like when I was just playing around as a kid. But the breadth, like watching Video Copilot videos for like hours, just trying to do an intro. Just trying to do an intro video.
Yeah.
So
But it's so finicky. Like we have to use it a tiny bit here at work, and it's just like to get your head around it is just such a sack. Like there are things that you just never think of. It's like, why is this going wrong? I think it's like learning any program though. Like when I was using Ableton for the first few times, and I'm sure probably you had the same experience. It's like, bro, like why isn't the audio coming through? And it's like you don't realize like, oh, you got to route certain things to, or you have to, you know, turn certain dials, and it's like once you get the hang of it, it's simple as. But until then, like that learning curve is steep.
Oh, 100%.
It's steep as like, I don't know if you've mucked around enough with Ableton to even like touch it, because even I have not jumped into like Max for Live.
Nah, yeah, I haven't.
That's fucked, bro.
I don't know what this is.
For anyone that hasn't used Ableton, like you're either a producer and you don't use Ableton, or is just not a producer at all. Max for Live just opens a fucking different ballpark.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
you're in Luna Park, and you're like, oh, I know everything, and then you realize there's an even bigger fucking Luna Park behind it, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is
It
this?
does scare me to look at it.
It's a software that it's like app development, but for plugins.
See, but then that's why I love Logic, because I go, I'm able to do everything I have to do here, and it's not necessarily like you mentioned the breadth part, right? But then I feel with having something that's so you know, something that takes so much knowledge to learn the entirety of it, like
You'll never learn it all.
you skip some fundamentals in my mind because you do get excited in what we do. So like instead of being able to perfect vocal mixing on stock plugins, which is something we've discussed, you end up you keep on going to the next level because you keep watching tutorials and this person's doing this thing, and then you never get plugins. You get more plugins, and then you bypass the fundamentals because you want to get to an advanced level, and then once you reach that level, you realize I need to go back, and then you're using the most advanced shit that you now understand, except you're doing the most fundamental tweaks with it, and it's like I missed the best part.
That's a very, very fair point. Like,
you know what I mean? Like if you open it and you're just overwhelmed, you'll never know where to start. But if you start in, you know, just basic, okay, this is how I'm going to record, this is how I'm going to set it out. I'm going to start with an EQ, compressor, reverb, and then I'm just going to learn how to EQ, compress, reverb. That's it. But then all of a sudden you've opened like an Ableton, for example, or an FL, and then now you're trying to figure out how do I route this to this, and then this person's routing sends to this, and it's like, you don't even know how to use the reverb plugin yet, so why are you going to confuse yourself with sending it somewhere? And it's just good to go step by step, and I think like that's important. But everyone makes that mistake. I feel I made it with photography. I'm sure with DJing sometimes, like people can just get the biggest deck and they haven't even mixed on something that's predominantly.
So funnily enough, it's actually a good story. So I've seen that happen a lot. I've seen a lot of people buy DJ kits and they'll tell me, oh, this is not working, I don't know how to do this and this and this. I still think working on a good new DJ kit is good, but you do need to learn the fundamentals. So speaking about fundamentals, when I first started DJing, and it was before I met you, my cousin used to have decks. He used to have CDJ 400s and a DJ M400 mixer, I think. So imagine like two disc jockeys and then a small mixer in the middle. And he used to lend them to my brother.
How many channels?
2 channels, only 2 channels. So he had one in A and B.
Effects?
Had 4 effects. It had flanger, it had
flanger.
My whole life I've been saying flanger. Flanger. Wow. That's crazy. Reverb, echo, and I can't remember the last one.
EQ,
4.
sweet.
No. So you know how you have the middles?
Yeah.
They didn't exist. So
what, the high, mid, low?
Yeah. No. They had the high, mid, lows, but you're talking about the color effects. So like your filter that you can turn them on. So this one is on the side. It's like a, I can't explain it. So you've got 4 live effects. I call them the alive effects, which you can do while you're mixing. And then there's your main master effects that affects like I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know the technical terms. But it's different. So I only had 4 effects, right?
Yeah.
And the only way it worked is you would adjust not the volume, the amount, right? You can't turn it off, you just increase it. And I used to remember watching my brother mix, and I loved it. And I just thought it was good, and he used to make mixes, and I used to like his mixes, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know how to use the DJ kit, so I used Ableton. So I first started on Ableton mixing. I'd put in a song onto the track line, put it in the first channel, put the other channel, warp the songs so they hit the metronome, so they're quantized, and then mix them. That's how I used to do it. I never used to mix a lot. And then I got the courage to go up to the DJ kit and start doing it. I fell in love. I was in love with it. And I remember my dad took me to this auction. It was like those charity auctions where you put down a price that you want for certain items. And there was a DJ kit at the charity.
Did you go for the DJ kit or your dad was just going?
Dad was just going. And I was like, okay. And I remember walking around the table and I see this DJ, Behringer BCD 2000. I'll never forget it. Behringer BCD 2000. I swear to God, it is the ugliest DJ kit you'll ever see. It's about this big. The disc jockey's like this big, it's not big at all. It had maybe like, it had the highs and like high, middles and mids and lows. It had effects functions, and I saw it and I said, Dad, please get it. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So it's like charity, you put whatever price down and you got it. And I remember I took it home, and the thing is so old that the software wouldn't work on the laptop. Or if it did, it was so old, it was like using Audacity. Like it looked like Audacity. It was disgusting, the platform. And I remember on my laptop, and back in the day I had like a Windows HP, so I was just using my school laptop. I was like 14 at this point. And I remember and I also knew about Tractor. I don't know if you heard about Tractor.
Yeah.
tractor, right?
Like the machine, the Native Instruments one.
Yeah. So that was usually for scratching, very good for R&B music. And I'm like, I need to somehow make this device work on tractor. And I remember I spent like a whole 2 days understanding the MIDI mapping of it, that I ended up building this old ass BCD that would link up to this tractor platform, which is amazing to use. Like as I turn the jog wheel, it will turn the jog wheel. As I turn this filter, it will do the filter. And the best thing about it is you're running into tractor, so you're getting the effects of tractor, you're not getting the effects of your mixer.
That's gone.
So it was like building this thing just for it, and I did it, and I was very proud of it. And then I remember a friend of mine's like, do you want to do a house party for me? I'm like, mad, let's do it. I've got the decks, pull out this little deck, I have the laptop there, and I was mixing. I kid you not, 50 songs I had. I still remember having 50 songs, not knowing how to mix R&B. I remember asking my cousin, I go, how do you do it? He's like, just loop it. Like, I don't know, just loop it and then mix it in. No idea. And I remember going there, I knew how to mix house and all like the EDM, because the EDM was easy to mix. Like, you had your intros, your outros. So as a beginner, I always tell people when I teach them, there's an outro for a reason, you've got your 32 beats, every song runs by 4 beats. So you do your intro, when it's when it's going into the outro, because it starts to do it in the kick, just start mixing. Right, and you start learning and you do it that way. So EDM was easy. R&B, no idea. I was just doing that up and down, right? And I remember I was doing that for ages, and then I finally bought the CDJ 450s. Sorry, no, I had the 400s, my brother had the 350s, or lended the 350s. And then I bought him, then someone for my brother's birthday got him a mixer. And we were like, okay, like, you got the mixer, but we now need to get the CDJ. So I bought the 450s. Or the 400s. And that's how I started. Kept practicing in my room, was just doing different things, learning what this did, learning what that did. Problem is, there's 2 ways to learn things. You read about it and you learn the theory, so then when you get to the practice, it's almost the same, or you just trial and error. And that's all it really was when it came to that at the start. Obviously, I'd look at certain things, read the manual on things, but not in depth. And then I started watching videos, and that's literally how I got to be in the DJ. And then I bought the XDJ RX2, which I still have. And that is like, the funny thing is people go, how do you know what you're doing? I know how I'm doing because I've literally learnt from the basics to what it is now. I know what every function is. When I now look at a DJ kit, I know exactly what it is. I know what it does. Like the new 3000 CCD, and I love, crazy. Some people don't know how to use them. Or the new 850 or A9 mixer, I know how to use, because it's all the same, fundamentals. So to your point, 100% you should learn fundamentals, because if someone buys my deck and they learn my deck, they're not familiar with whatever else is out there. So if they get like a Denon, right? I don't know if you've heard of, have you heard of Denon?
No.
Denon's another,
I get what you're saying.
Denon's another, like, Pioneer's top of the line when it comes to DJing. Everyone uses Pioneer. But Denon's there. Like, I know the same fundamentals of Pioneer will be applied on Denon, because it's all music principles. So, yeah, I agree with you with the fundamentals, but I still remember building that dirty little BCD 2000 was...
That's actually quite impressive for you to have done that.
Yeah.
Like to go in and MIDI map everything, like that's just like buying a useless controller that doesn't do anything.
Haven't you found respect? I didn't know that story.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny story. I don't know where it went, to be quite honest, that little mixer. I didn't sell it. I actually don't know what I did with it.
Just sitting in the garage.
On that
Hope
question, so. if we have, like, in all honesty, someone who loves music, they are, because I asked you this not too long ago, you and Luke. If we have like an aspiring DJ or someone who loves music who just wants a creative outlet, that doesn't even necessarily have to want to do it as a job. They just want to, like, test mixes out for themselves in their bedroom. They want to have a bit of fun. Do you have any recommendations? Like where they would start, the fundamentals, a price point, like...
Oh, where to start?
Yeah, like if you were to start from today, what deck would you get? How would you go about it? How would you learn? Like, yeah.
It's a very good question. And look, obviously this is my opinion. I'm not like a professional. I'm not like I take
You're
pride.
pretty professional, bro.
I take pride in what I do, but
definitely don't downsell yourself.
No, like I just don't want it to come out as if like, oh, what I say is the benchmark, which it should be. But whatever. It's
like it's not the Bible. But
no, it's not. But like in my opinion,
it's very close.
In my opinion, there's so many decks out there at the moment that I don't know which one to use. But I would not be expecting anyone, firstly, to buy a brand new deck if they just want to use it as a hobby. Like, you've got people that get rid of their decks, go get those. The second thing is, know what music you like, right? Don't be consumed by what people are playing. Like, obviously Afro House is popping off right now. It's not a dialect, but it's a playoff house. It's got a bit of Afro, it's got R&B. It's
like a subgenre.
Subgenre of house, right? So know what your music is. Now, I've been lucky enough to play any and every single type of genre, so I'm very familiar with the style of that music. My favorite music will always be house, but it does change. Everyone's right, and I love all types. I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. So learn what you like and learn to play it. What I mean by that is all these songs that you like are constructed in a certain way. So if you like that type of genre, you're going to know that the same structure is used for different types of songs. Whereas if you like, for example, Afro House, I'm talking Afro House because it's popping off. You like Afro House. You know the sound, you know the intro, you know the way it does. So if you mix another Afro House song, you're going to be very familiar with it, right? The scary part for people is when there's different songs. Like, a perfect example that I did an event where I got asked to DJ, right? And it's a party. So I have to be able to play, different types of genres, R&B, 90s, top 40s, house. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on. Different types of genres. There's another person there who's a DJ, and he plays at some events, and he's known, but he only plays one genre of music, right? Which is fair enough, you're popular in that genre of music, which eventually happens, right? And they're like, oh, jump on. I'm like, mad. Because I actually wanted to be there for the event because I knew the people. So I'm like, mad. So I went and left. He jumped on. Had no idea what to do. He only knew how to play his music, which is not appealing to a general group of people. So I'll be asked, can you come back on? Can you come back on? I'm like, bro, you just told me to jump on. He's like, yeah, I need you to come back on like you're doing, like you know how to do it, whatever. I'm like, all right, I'll come back on. Come back on. I knew how to read the crowd because I knew different types of songs. And I'm like, and then they're like, oh, can you jump on again? I'm like, all right, get on. Like, I'm not going to go back on now. He can play for the rest. So it just goes to show you that while it depends on what you want to do. Like, if it's just a hobby, play what you want to play. If you want to be a performance DJ, which is being able to play anything, start listening to different types of music, start to get an understanding of what it is. Like, there was a period of time where I was known to be really good at mixing R&B because that's all I listened to for that year. And I would make mixes because I loved R&B. There was a period of R&B which was mad. Like, you had The One Dance by Drake, you had Wild Thoughts. Like, it was a sick year to be loving R&B. Now it's all right, it's different. It's very chop and change, very rappy. It's like, I don't mind, I can mix it. Yeah. But to go back to your point, get something very basic, know your music, put it on a USB and just start playing around with it. Like,
do you have any software recommendations?
I always suggest Rekordbox.
Okay.
The reason for that is because nowadays it works with everything. Because it used to just be either Serato, Rekordbox. It used to have, I can't remember the other one, but there were different types of ones. Get a Pioneer because it allows you to do both if you like Serato, and it also comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
Reason why I like Rekordbox is I've experienced using the laptop, or another one is try not to use the laptop. I mean, it's probably a little bit above the price range, but if you can get something that doesn't need a laptop and you can just put it in a USB.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
From my experience, I had a moment where I had the laptop and the laptop died. Not like by the battery, because obviously you bring a charger, but
Just shit bricks.
just crashed. And I haven't had an issue where I've just had to go USBs in. Because think about it, the computer's it's computer, you're just plugging in a USB which reads its data. The whole laptop has to be running in the background. You never know. And that's comes mainly from PTSD of that happening. But realistically, if you want to get into clubs, it's just USBs. And I guess people do bring their laptop. I just think, what's the point of getting your laptop out, having a stand like it's... But there's some very good performance DJs that know how to use it with a laptop, and I definitely envy their ability to do it.
So what's the difference in that?
With a laptop, you can do sampling. You can sample songs, parts of the song, and create a song by like certain parts of it.
Oh,
like
shit.
producing live?
Yeah, pretty much. So like splicing a song and then taking certain parts of the song and putting them as hot cues. Like I've seen someone take, what's that song? It's like dun 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 dun.
The Dr. Dre one.
Not the Dr. Dre one.
Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
I don't know. I don't think it's that song. Anyway, there's a certain key. Maybe it actually might be Dr. Dre. And then what?
You know the one I'm talking about.
I know the one you're talking about. I
do
don't know if that's the one.
I know what you're talking about.
Or you think
Or
about
you're thinking dun, 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 dun.
Rock Your Body.
Yeah.
That
What's
one?
it called?
Eve. It's Eve.
Is it like Rock Your Body?
No.
No?
Dun, 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 dun. Isn't that the song?
Yeah. Let me blow your
Let
mind.
me blow your mind. That song.
Ah.
So you know how it's like dun 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 dun. Dun. So they were able to do this first part of it, but they did like a Wild Thoughts.
No way.
Because they took each of those keys, they had it, and the computer can only do it, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Computer can only do it, and then they were able to make a song. But that's what I mean. But if you want to just start off, I always said, in my opinion, I suggest get a USB, get decks that just use USB, so you don't need to set up your laptop. Because I think with certain things, unless you're extremely passionate, when something requires a lot of effort to get set up, it turns you off from doing it.
No, 100%, yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just have your decks on, or decks there with the power cable, and you just turn it on, put a USB in, you're going to be more inclined to be like, let's just do a mix. Whereas I've got to get my laptop out, plug the laptop in, turn the laptop on, I've got to update it. Like, you just don't know what might happen.
What about like people who link their computers to like, I don't know if it is Record Box, but like connect it to Tidal so that they get like the entire catalogue?
I've seen that. It's Tidal
I think it's Tidal that uses
I have heard Tidal. People in Record Box now, you can actually download straight off SoundCloud.
That's
pretty
So
good.
that's pretty good.
That's
But you
probably,
have to be
that's
connected
probably
to the
better.
internet.
You'd probably get a lot more variation on SoundCloud because you have
100%.
certain mixes that aren't legally allowed on DSPs that are on SoundCloud, like
Correct.
Altego and
for
stuff.
sure.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
I'll take it. The artist that does like they do
remixes, but you can't post someone else's remix.
Is that what it's called,
on
Altego?
Altego's the group. They're a duo.
Oh, they're an actual artist.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do like
okay.
certain mixes. They're popping off a bit, but I say popping off a bit. They're doing excellent.
no,
I love their music.
And it's all on SoundCloud. Or mainly on
But
SoundCloud.
yeah, a lot of it has to be on SoundCloud because of the legal
of
rights
course,
behind
of course.
it.
Like
So
the
I
Commons
actually,
license or something is that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually pretty good.
That actually is pretty cool. I mean, I still think it would be helpful to have all the classics.
What about the parties? And they go like, "Do you have this song?" Fuck that song. Look at my laptop. Download it.
Yeah, you could do that. Like,
Yeah.
to be quite honest, that's a perfect example.
That's I was gonna mention that.
It's good. Like for
That's
me,
kind of why I said it. Like you link it to Tidal, you never have an issue. It's like, oh, can I hear this song? Yes, I have it straight away.
correct. It's very good. Me personally, I don't do that. I have my phone. I'm able to mix with my phone.
No way.
It's impressive.
Bro, that's crazy.
It's taken a while. It's hard, but it's it's not hard. Once you get used to it, it becomes easy.
He used to plug it in, and then I used to DJ. I used to go like, "All right, I'm gonna do it finally like this time," because he could add the effects to the point where he can play it off his phone, and it sounds mixed in. Like it was crazy. It was still an aux, right? I'm thinking of the right thing, and then he'd echo it out, and he'd like blend into the merge on the phone. And then one day I was like, "Oh, like I'll do it." Bro, it's just fucking the whole thing stopped, and then I'm like hitting the play button.
Spotify hit. Like when I press on play.
And then I'm just like looking around.
But
Fuck,
hey,
bro.
people go like, "What the hell?" But then like, if it's a good song, they're like,
They don't give a fuck.
they don't care. It's mad. It's exactly what you want.
I think Fred was saying this. You know Fred again.
Who's that?
In one of his boiler rooms, funnily enough, we were talking about boiler rooms before. If you watch the video, like there's a guy dancing right up next to the decks, and he smacks
bumps
it.
it.
He smacks it twice, I think.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, and the music cuts twice, and people go to him like, I think Zane Lowe asked it. He was like, "What do you do in that situation?" He's like, "Everyone's loving it, and then the music just cuts." And he's like, "Bro, you can't get angry at the guy. Like, one, it's an accident, right? And two, there's never been a bad reaction to a cut." When I thought about it, I was like, "You're right." Because it goes wrong and then it comes right back and it's the biggest G up because everyone loves the song and everyone's back straight into it and it's like it actually makes the environment even better.
Yeah, I agree. Like you can't get upset about that. You know what I mean? Like if you are getting upset about that, it's not a crowd I want to be around.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
Fucking don't you fucking piece of shit.
like you can imagine. I've seen a video. I don't know if it's scripted, but there's a video of a guy. It's actually on Restricted. You know the DJ It's Restricted?
Actually, that rings a bell. I'm not even
You
taking.
probably would have seen him. He's
Yeah.
popping off. He's actually pretty good. No, he's good. I do rate him. So a guy plugs in a USB. I don't know if it's a random, but you see in the videos, he's a random guy that plugs in a USB. It's his USB into the decks. starts queuing up a song while Restricted is DJing, and he's like sort of question. I don't know if it's I don't know, but it looks mad. And then he starts mixing. Like he's got this random guy's say this is what it is. Random guy's got his USB, plugged it into one of the CDJs. He's gotten it ready. Starts to queue it. Started mixing without Restricted knowing, and then brought it in slowly. And the Restricted's like, yeah, do it. Does it, and it was a mad mix. It was a sick mix.
That's actually hectic.
I want to see this.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'll show you the video.
That's surely
Scripted. Like you wouldn't let someone get that intimate with your decks.
Yeah, that sounds too
Like
good.
put just their USB in. There could be something on it fucks up your decks. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree.
But even like who's
personally-
letting like security or like where was this? Was this at like a proper venue?
Yeah, mad.
So like who's letting a bloke like just come in and like hijack?
True. I
Like
mean,
surely the seckies are like, oi mate, like back
Yeah.
off.
probably, yeah. I mean, like,
But I mean, if it is rude,
As a content idea, that's mad, but-
no, that sounds
it is. But on face value, if it is what it is, it's a sick scene. Like when I saw it, I was smiling. I had a mad
Oh,
smile
that's
watching
mad.
that. So I was going to mention something about the live mixing. Oh, so yeah, when you do it with the phone as well, like coming back to the BPM, the best thing about it is if you are playing on the phone, you can actually find out the BPM of the song playing through the phone, so you can mix it through the mixer to the phone. So it goes back to the whole principle thing. It's all the same thing. It doesn't matter what source it is. It's all music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just depends.
All right, we're back. We had a potty break.
Little
Now we're
pippy.
back.
A bunch of zesty rats, but I was going to ask you, with everything you're doing, obviously you work full time.
I do. Yeah, I do.
How do you balance not only obviously listening to new music, working, practicing the art form of DJing, on top of that organizing events, running like what does your week look like? I think a lot of people, creatives, we've got to balance the two between, earning the money to then spend on building what we love. So like, how do you manage your time? And like, no, because to balance that in as well is something I tell Raph, like we've all had this convo, like I personally stay away from even entertaining the idea of having, I do, because it's like entertaining the idea of having a girlfriend. I can't fathom to integrate that into the
But
routine.
boyfriend's okay.
Yeah, boyfriend's mad.
I already have two, but
It's a good question, and look, I sometimes think about. Trying to see if I can answer this as succinctly as possible. Look, it really depends on what type of character you are. Anything's achievable, in my opinion. It just takes a lot of resilience, and it really depends how passionate you are about your vision. Now, I agree, it would probably be easier if you don't have as much things interfering with your life, etc. Having a full-time job as well as having multiple jobs, or having a girlfriend or a boyfriend in your instance. It really depends on what your vision is, and for me, I used to be a very stressed out person. Like, I think there was a point where, I think it came with a lot of my previous places of work, that I just I cared too much about the outcome. Like, literally, it's come to a point this year where you realise there's nothing that should really stress you out, realistically. If you think about it deeply, there's really nothing that should stress you out. You can't control the outcome. You can only control what you're currently doing. Now, we all have visions, and you just got to make sure that every step that you take in the present moment is getting you to that vision. And the reason why I say that is because, I have a lot on. I do enjoy and innately have something to do with having a lot on. I like being busy. But it also comes down to the principle of balance, right? You just need to be able to organize yourself. And I never was an organized person. Now my calendars are organized. Everything I do is now organized. Some people I know can't even think about what they're going to do. What's today? Tuesday? Can't think about Thursday. And that freaks me out. It's like, it's 2 days away. How can you not think about it? And it's like, it's him. I know it is him.
Well, actually, I'm exactly like you. He's the exact.
because why are you going to stress about Thursday? Why are you going to think about Thursday?
But
There's no
it's not
need to
about-
think about Thursday.
For me, no, I agree with you. You don't need
You know
to
what I
think
mean?
about what you're doing on Thursday. But for me, I need to think about my future days so I can continue getting to where I need to be. I know that I've got a gig on Saturday. Where am I going to find the time to do all my Eats Right Air stuff? That is me balancing. Where am I going to see the time to see my friends and the people that I love? Like, how am I going to do that? That's where I start balancing it out. Now, if things come up, they come up. Like, what are you going to do? You can't kill yourself over it. You get double booked, whatever.
Do you find that restricts the amount of mental capacity you have for the moment then? That's why I don't think about it like for example, Raph will be like, I have this calendar and like I do this or this, and then I'm like, oh, let me put that in, and I'll be like, I'm not even worried about the calendar because right now I'm more worried about how I'm going to finish this verse to this song in this current moment because we're sitting in this studio. Let's not worry about Thursday. If Thursday comes, Thursday comes.
Yeah, my issue is I fucking forget. That's why.
Yeah, I'm like, if Thursday comes, Thursday comes. Right now, let's give all mental energy and capacity to this current moment because we don't know what's going to happen in 4 minutes, let alone the next 4 days. So let's just take it one step at a time and then eventually we'll get there. But as long as, it actually integrates with what you mentioned, as long as what I'm currently doing feeds the vision, then I'll have no issue what's happening on Thursday.
I don't know, I think that's a little bit extreme of you, bro.
It is, but I'm an extreme person.
Like
you guys
in
know
the
that.
studio,
You guys,
like, let's do dinner. Like you take 1 second to put it in your calendar. And it's okay, now we're
Oh,
done.
wait, so what I'm getting from what Raph is saying, you forget.
I don't forget.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
So that's different. Like for me, that's just being clumsy. Like if someone says, "Hey,"
Oh, okay, yeah.
no, but like say for
Yeah,
instance,
fucking super nanny over here. You want to take care of my life for me?
if
You
Raph
fucking
goes,
boost.
"Hey, bro, do you want to go to dinner?" You go, "Yeah." He puts in his calendar. You don't. Gets to Thursday and you forget. I've done that before. I get that.
I don't forget.
Oh, okay, then that's different. Then.
That
Yeah,
is a bit different.
I'm not clumsy.
Okay, that's what I was
But
asking.
also,
But I'm not-
I feel
I'm not
like the
stressed
calendar
about
holds
Thursday.
you accountable a little bit.
You need to have accountability in every decision that you make. I am a very big advocate.
I'm not saying Nick's way is wrong at all. I'm actually not
No,
arguing
neither.
that. I'm just saying like for people that are like Nick and they're wondering like, bro, why the fuck would you need a calendar? Like, yeah, two things. Like one, it structures your day pretty well, and then as a result of that, you have to hold yourself decently accountable.
Okay, this is
But maybe you do it
interesting
in your
because
head.
now that you've both said it, I can get away with it because my days are structured the same and I don't vary too much. I'm waking up, I'm going to work. Within work lunch break, I'm going to the gym. I then come home. I then take the dog for a walk. I then have a shower. And then I'm working on music for the rest of the night. And that is 5 or 6 days out of the week, there is no variation. So I can get away with it. But I can imagine from your guys' perspective, you have to segregate your time a lot more. Dinner on this day, seeing this person on this day, it'd be a lot more difficult. So in saying that, I've structured my life in a way where I don't have to do that because I found that it was like, I don't have to worry about that. It means I can put more mental capacity into what I'm doing in the current moment. And that's why I structured my life in that particular way. Which is why when our worlds collide and it's like, hey Nick, what are you doing in 2 weeks? It's a bit different because then I'm like, I haven't even thought ahead because tomorrow's the same as today.
What do you do in that situation? How do you actually tackle it?
When we get there, we get there. That's actually what I do.
Because like say like you have like a few busy people trying to get something to line up. And like I don't check the calendar and I go, okay, let's do it like in 2 Sundays time. And then it comes to that day and then it's like, my parents are like, didn't you check the calendar? Because we've got a shared calendar. Like I'm sure I'm more intense than you.
With your parents?
Yeah, like
That's
with the
crazy.
family. Because our communication sucks. They'll go like, wedding on this day. It gets to 2 weeks time and they're like, get ready for the wedding. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
I've got dinner with like 3 boys and then I have to cancel on them because you're not going to miss the wedding, right? It's like, can't fucking do that. So like, do you ever have run-ins like that where you either double book yourself or something's planned and you stuff up and you do and you just think, fuck.
No, I just go, no one died. Sorry, mate, I can't get a beer. No one died, bro.
I think
if people are going to get butthurt, like, and I think I'm fortunate enough to have the friends I have where they don't get butthurt. They go like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. They get it, bro. Because busy people surround themselves around busy people and busy people understand when busy people are busy. So if you surround yourself with someone who's never busy and they're like, he never wants to spend time, and they get butthurt, it means they're not busy enough. I'm sorry to say it, like, and sometimes it's difficult with my own family because I'm the only one sort of outside of hours pursuing something different. So they have their work hours and then they have their family time. And then I have to cut into family time because I have work hours, but then I have second job work hours. And it's like, that's what we've got to do in order to segment the time. But yeah, like for example, if we had a few times where we were going to edit the video and it was like, sorry bro, I can't do time. And there's an understanding. You're not going to be like, And then the week after you couldn't do it, and it's not going to be like, oh, can't do it. Oh, Ron, fuck Ron, piece of shit. Like, it's like, hey, bro, okay, can you do next Wednesday? Next Wednesday's locked in.
You did actually say that to me.
Done.
I would have said the same thing.
So the scummy, come on. No, but it's...
I agree with you. I think
you know what I mean?
There's no right answer, obviously, to it.
No, I think we're right.
That's it. It's this one on that's it.
We're pretty definitive now. But yeah, I think
I think if you're genuine in everything you do, then there shouldn't be a problem with what it is.
Calendar or not.
And I think people understand
Calendar or not.
Yeah. I think they understand when they see the output. James is busy, then Jimm Eats posts something, and then Eats Radio's posting, and then bro, if people can visually see the output you're doing, they're like, okay, bro, I get it.
But even then, like, so going back to like the day to day and how I balance it, if something that I have planned doesn't happen, it always, for me, it depends on the way you respond to the circumstance. If it doesn't happen, you could be stressing, going, oh no, my life's all over, or you can go, that's okay, the world, someone didn't die. That's the mindset I have. Right, like say for instance, I've had moments where I've forgotten my USBs. I've gone to the gig. It's not the end of the world. There's always ways to get it. How do
you actually get around that?
I either go or ask someone if they can't get it. Like you just got to be honest with the situation and take accountability and make sure it doesn't happen again. Like it's literally not the end of the world. Literally, you might literally have someone go, oh, he's not a good DJ based off that. Yeah, okay, that's a bit of a stab in your reputation, but you know deep down that you genuinely didn't make that mistake. A lot of things are happening in people's lives. You can't go and say this guy's a bad person for that. Like, I to be quite honest, I would have thought the same thing a couple of years ago, but right now there's no need to have that negative approach to any sort of situation. There's a lot of things happening in the world. Some people are not doing things the right way that you think it's the right way, but you just got to keep going. So my day-to-day, is I try and plan it out. If it doesn't go to plan, then like, I just move it on to the next day. Like someday I want to post every day for Eats Radio and Jimm Eats. I don't do it. Not the end of the world. I just know it's going to put me a little bit back. I just got to plan a little bit better. That's the way I see it. And like if you double book someone or you can't make it, like you just be genuine. I'm someone that will get on the phone and make an honest effort to say, look, I've made a mistake. Don't, for me, like I get people send it to me, that's fine, but I don't feel comfortable going, hey, because the text is making not that much of an effort to let them know what the circumstance is. So it does come down to me being genuine about everything you do. And if it hurts them, you know deep down it's not supposed to hurt them. It shouldn't really impact you that much. And they should understand it. That's what I think.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, we're just fucking massive dogs.
Yeah, all that.
Seriously, we could just be
lifestyle.
fucking dogs, bro.
I don't know, man. It depends how you want to look at it.
No, I understand. I think I'm probably a little bit further to the other side
And that's
than
fine.
you guys. But like, I completely get it because like, bro, we are all stacked. And it's like, it's hard. I think the thing that makes me say that is like, I have a partner who expects to see me at least a little bit each week. It's like if I'm constantly double booking and, you know, having to cancel too many things, then it's like, it's unfair on that person. That's probably the reason why I say it, because I feel accountable for her, not just for myself. But bro, like one of my good mates, Julian, like we've been trying to tee up something for ages, and it's just like, bro, you get busy. It's like he's busy and then the other person's busy, and it's like I'm not accountable for him. Like it sucks that we have to keep cancelling things, but like everyone has situations like that. So like, yeah, I don't think you're dogs. I don't think I'm a dog. Hopefully not.
I think he's a
dog, maybe.
Dog, bro.
I think, look, people shouldn't go into situations where they know that they're not ready to be capable of committing to that situation. Like, if you're going to have a relationship and you're thinking that you're going to spend the rest of their life with someone, then you need to be ready to do that.
So I got 0 bitches. It is.
Thank you.
I mean, not only that, but mainly that.
And look, I can put my hand up like I'm...
No, it's on the leash.
That's my opinion.
It's on the leash like a dog.
But yeah, I mean, it depends how you look at it.
But it's not easy either.
No one ever said it was going to be easy.
Yeah, no.
Nothing, everything that's good is not easy.
Yeah, 100%.
So you got to make that conscious effort.
Yeah, I think...
Except dirty sluts.
You're fucked, mate.
Jesus Christ.
Number 2, baby.
No, I think art in itself, like whether it be DJing, songwriting, producing, painting, like is a testament to that. Like you start off and it's not easy and you suck at it for the first good amount of time.
Yeah.
Maybe more than you want to admit, but it's like, it is worth it. And you only realise that once you put in that time and that effort and you go, fuck, that was hard, but I'm so happy that I stuck through that.
Hey, Limit.
Do you have
5 minutes, right? Wrap up? Yeah. We'll rapid fire this.
Rapid fire. Did you want to ask the rapid fires this week? Or do you want me?
What is the rapid fire?
Yeah, I'll ask him.
Yeah?
How quick do I have to answer them?
Fucking quick, bro.
Yeah, bro,
Okay.
they're rapid.
They're rapid.
I'm sorry, I'm just finding...
No, all good. I'm just going to stay here so I don't lose aura. I'm losing aura by the second.
What letter are we picking this week? I'll let you pick the letter.
Oh, mad.
I would be nervous.
Question one.
Alright, rapids.
Okay.
Why is your mum so hot?
So these are one-word answers.
No, okay.
No.
Well, were you going to answer to that question?
Yes.
I don't even know.
No, it's just favourite artist.
But like, is it just one word?
No, it doesn't have to be a fucking word.
sorry.
Stop making your own
Alright,
fucking... It makes its own definition of the game.
So it's not one word. You said pick the letter. What's the letter thing?
Don't worry about that. That's for later. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. Start again.
Rapid fires.
Oh, go.
Favourite artist.
Black coffee.
Who?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Favourite club in Sydney?
Surely that's an easy one.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Pick your own.
Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Best restaurant?
There's so many.
Alcatraz.
Nah, I'm joking. I actually don't know what my favourite restaurant would be. Can I pass on them?
This is... Your whole brand is food.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
But there's so many options is what I'm saying. There's so many options.
Alright, just
Alright,
because...
Gidley.
This is not rapid. Oh, that's
Gidley?
That's a good answer.
The Gidley.
Yeah, good answer.
Go to Macca's order.
Big Mac with cheeseburger. Or steamed bun. Have to be steamed bun.
Meal or like no chips?
No, meal, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
2 meals or one?
No. One Big Mac and then the cheeseburger on the side.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't had Macca's in ages though, so.
Can't tell. Vinyl or streaming? Vinyl or streaming?
What?
Nah, he's going to be streaming.
Vinyl or streaming?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's better? Like listening on vinyl?
Vinyl, 100%.
So quirky, wow. Give me a 5-letter word that starts with B. Oh, no, we already
We
did
did
B.
B last week.
Give me a 5-letter word that starts with H.
Horse.
Good answer. I would have picked horse.
Best movie
A
ever.
bit horny.
It's like
Huh?
W.
Best movie ever? Transformers.
Best country to visit.
Australia.
Okay, well, that was shit.
Right,
Did
to
you
leave
make-
Australian pick? Then I'll probably say
It's a weird one because he's never visited Australia. He's lived here his whole life. So that was the one wrong answer out of fucking 217 countries or whatever the fuck it is. He picked it. He picked the wrong one. That's fine. Did you make your bed this morning?
yes.
Good man.
Have you ever gone viral online?
No.
Best snack in the studio?
Marvelous Creations.
No.
Cadbury's.
Cadbury's gone, man.
Yeah.
What's a song you wish you made?
Cola.
You can only listen to one genre for a year. What is it?
House.
Dead or alive, who are you collabing with?
Michael Jackson.
Pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
What's a song that shouldn't exist?
Gangnam Style.
First word that comes to mind when I say spaghetti.
Bolognese.
You're DJing a 5-year-old's party. What's the first song that comes out?
Gangnam Style.
Who's winning a boxing match? Nah, I don't like that question.
Okay, change it or skip it.
Because it's always burrito. Who's winning in a boxing match, taco or burrito?
Taco.
Okay, fucking
Fuck
loser.
you,
He's a
mate.
piece of shit. Favorite sound effect to use?
Echo.
Last
No,
dream.
you have to make it with your mouth.
Echo.
The fucking C4's hitting. Fucking jerked off. Last dream you remember?
Last dream I remember. I don't even know. I can't remember my dreams. I thought this was a music podcast.
Oh my gosh, if you weren't into music, what would you be doing with your time?
Probably just reading.
What books would you be reading? Or books.
Music books.
What books would you be reading?
Like probably like fantasy book. No, joking. Probably like
50 Shades of Rihanna's mum.
Nah, what I do, I'll be playing sport. I'll be playing sport.
What sport? Soccer. You good?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Nah, not right now. I'm pretty bad.
Why?
Because I haven't been playing for about 5 years.
What made you stop soccer?
To injury prone.
Really? Why were you getting injured?
It just comes with the sport.
Unfit piece of shit. Best concert you've ever been to?
Best concert I've ever been to? Does like a nightclub event count as one? Like, I don't think I've ever been to a concert where there's a singer. Oh, actually, Rufus.
I don't think he understands the concept of a rapid fire, but fair enough. How do we fix the Sydney music scene?
Jimm Eats and Eats Radio, baby.
That was actually a phenomenal answer.
That was good. We're going to cut the fuck out of that.
Thank you for coming on, Jim. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Is there anything you would like to let the audience know about yourself for upcoming projects?
Well, firstly, I want to thank you both for having me on here.
Yeah, what else?
It's been pretty good. I hope you guys have learned something. But otherwise, stay tuned for Jimm Eats, Eats Radio, and Club Bazooka, which you guys will probably have on eventually, hopefully. But yeah, make sure you stay fed and we'll keep cooking, baby.